Hey guys, it's Jeff and welcome to my channel. So if you have a Smith & Wesson Shield, should you upgrade to the Shield Plus? I won't be answering that question in this video, but I will be giving you information that hopefully you can use to make that decision easier. In this video, I'll be covering the newest double stack micro compact 9mm from Smith & Wesson, the Shield Plus. Alright guys, I'm back. Well, before I begin, I just want to share this with you real quick. I did a video on this guy. If you haven't seen it yet, check out the card. I'll link it up in the top corner here. So first things first, in order to keep making this kind of content for you guys, I need your participation in the success of this channel. I don't get paid to make these videos, and this kind of content doesn't get a lot of love from YouTube. So even if it's monetized, it still doesn't get a lot of traction unless there's engagement from you guys. So simple things like a like or a subscribe or a comment in the comment section below go a long way to helping this channel bring you the kind of content that makes it easier to get out the two-way message. So if you find anything useful in this video, if any of it's interesting whatsoever, please give me a like and a subscription if you haven't done so yet. I really would appreciate that. It does motivate me to continue to bring this kind of content, and it gets this kind of content message out to new prospective gun buyers who may be looking for something similar to what I am showing in this video. So getting right into it, the Smith & Wesson Shield is one of the most popular concealed carry pistols out there. It was released in 2012 by Smith & Wesson, obviously, and it quickly became one of the most affordable, full-featured, single-stack 9mm for concealed carry, for pocket carry, in the waistband, that sort of thing. It was really a standout product, and because of the value that you were getting for the dollar you were spending, it quickly became one of the most popular handguns out there. So I've done a couple of different reviews on the Smith & Wesson Shield. You can check those out. I'll have links up in the, wherever they go up in the top there. I've done a Mag Guts video, I've done a review video, and I've done a long-term review on the Mag Guts video. But you'll find those links in the description if they're not in the cards above. Feels the hand really well, I like it. The flat face trigger is kind of interesting too. I kind of like that as well. Didn't know how I would like it, but coming from the first gen Smith & Wesson Shield, it's a little different, but you get used to it really quickly. All right, so targeting onto the Shield Plus, there have only been a few changes, keeping with this winning design from the original. They've added a few tweaks that make sense almost 9 years later. So in that, I'm just gonna highlight what some of those changes were, what some of the similarities are in the two, and give you some final thoughts. Anyway, Sig Sauer really kicked off the double stack micro concealed carry pistols around 2019 SHOT Show. They really revolutionized what you can expect to get in a compact micro 9 by adding a double stack carry capacity. So Smith & Wesson following suit, never the leader, always the follower. Smith & Wesson finally in 2021 has come out with an update to their highly popular single stack magazine concealed carry pistol in a double stack capacity now. So the new features of the Shield Plus, I'll just kind of cover them real quick and then we'll do a comparison. So obviously you've got the capacity, right? You've got the 10+1 on the, you've got the capacity on the original, you've got 7+1 on the new one, you've got 10+1, and then with the extended magazines, you go to 13 and 8, right? So that's quite a few extra rounds. That's a big improvement over the original. And then, looking at the pistol, there's something else that's pretty obvious that stands out. You've got this flat face trigger on this guy, and so this is not loaded. Just do a quick safety check. You can see everything's out. All bullets have been removed from the table. And so I will do a trigger check. So with the flat face trigger, you've got just a wall and then a break. So you got all this slop right here, and then it just sits there and it never moves and it just breaks. Very clean, very crisp, very audible, very tactile. You feel it break. Very clean. Now on the reset, and I'll zoom in here a little bit, so you got it all the way in. I'll start to let it out, and it is a little sloppy coming out. Now this could be because it's a brand new pistol, doesn't have a lot of range time on it yet, but it's a little gritty coming out, and then it just pops out, All right, so that's kind of ugly, and that can be cleaned up, I would imagine, over time. Yeah, that just kind of slops out. So yeah, you lift up on it and it just comes back out. Not a clean reset on there, but it is a clean brake. So anyway, hopefully that'll clean up over time, and you can bet that there'll be third-party manufacturers out there willing to invest money in triggers. That's how they make their living, you know, Apex and things like that. So there'll always be those trigger snobs out there, but from a factory flat face trigger, it has a very clean brake. I do like that brake and how just no slop, no take up, anything. You know, that little take up right there, but the very clean brake once you get to that wall. I really like that. Now you compare that to the, again, this is, you can see safed, nothing in there, empty gun. So just check the brake on this. So that's a little spongy, a little mushy right there. Now these are all factory triggers on here, so it's very similar. Other than the fact that it feels like it's catching on the sides right here, it does also kind of hit that wall and then break. And then the reset on this isn't a Shield 1.0 video, but yeah, it's very similar in the let up or the takeout there on the reset. It's also very kind of catchy, like it's catching plastic or something along those lines. So little bit of an upgrade. The flat face trigger is a little better in its brake. I like the brake on it, but I don't like the reset on it. Now that could probably, like I said, that can be fixed with the aftermarket trigger, but the flat face trigger is an interesting upgrade, and I like that out of the box. Doesn't feel like there's a lot of differences in the pull of the trigger. I think it's like a 5 or 6 pound pull on the trigger right now. I know the Apex talks about a pound or 2 reduction in their Apex triggers. Again, this isn't a trigger video, but I know that there'll be some improvements. So it's a pretty standard trigger now. I don't see a lot of difference in the pull. I don't have a trigger gauge. So if you like, you want me to get a trigger gauge, give me a like on this video, guys. It really does help. I can't overemphasize that. So on the weight of the two pistols, so I'm gonna compare them empty real quick for you. I'll pull up the scale here. Pull up the scale here and I will weigh them. Let's see if you guys can see that. It'll be upside down, but you'll get the idea. All right, so the original, the 1.0, it is 1 pound, 2.3 ounces. And on the Plus, it is 1 pound, 2.0 ounces. So you can see that on the scale. The new one is 0.3 ounces lighter. Let me just do that one more time, make sure there's no magic. There's 2.3, 2.4, so we'll go with 2.3. And then here we've got 2.0. So a little bit lighter. Now we'll throw the magazines on here just for argument's sake to see if that makes any difference. 2.3. This one's 2.6, so a little bit heavier there. This is 2.0. That's 2.1. So all in all, I'll just throw the magazines in there and let's see overall weight with a empty magazine in the gun. We got one 4.4 and one 4.1. So you tell me, guys, how do you think that's coming out of there? That's a little bit lighter in the new pistol. That's pretty interesting to me. I like it. Weight savings always matter on these size guns. So having it a little bit lighter, you can use those pounds or those ounces rather for additional ammunition, and that's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. I'm gonna pause real quick. I'm gonna strip both of these down, and I'm gonna compare them for you guys real quick. YouTube doesn't like people taking guns apart, so I will pause the video and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. So just real quick, this is the Shield. This is the Shield Plus. So I'll just close up on these guys real quick so you can see the internals. They are almost, if not 100% identical. So you guys can see there, not a lot has changed on the slides, other than the graphic on this one where it says Shield Plus. You can see that there. Other than that, pretty much identical. There you can get a good look at the sights, pretty much the same, no difference there. All right, so now let's look at the lowers. These are the frames. There are some very, very minor differences here, and I'll let you look and see if you can see them. But all in all, guys, I think it's 100% identical. To the point where you guys, I will put the original slide onto the Shield Plus. So this is the Shield slide. I'll put it onto the Shield Plus and be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. So here's the original Shield slide and barrel on the Shield Plus. You can tell the newer texture, and you've got the larger magazine that goes in there just fine. And you can drop the slide on that larger magazine. So mag does lock it back, and I don't see why you wouldn't be able to use this in this lower. And similarly, likewise, you can see here, that's the Shield Plus on the 1.0's frame. And again, here's the extended mag, right? There's the mag down, and it does seem to work just fine. You do get a last round hold open, and I don't see any reason why you couldn't, you know, these are so identical that you couldn't interchange them. So I don't know why it took so long to get that frame worked out, but the slides are pretty much identical on these two. So be right back. I'll put them back together and I'll be right back with you. All right, guys, so that's pretty much the extent of the internals. You've got grip texture that came out in the 2.0. They kept that in the Shield Plus. The dimensions, the area dimensions are identical on these two. The only difference that you'll see that's noticeable at all on these guys is the mag well on the Shield Plus is a little bit wider than it is on the Shield, and the Shield Plus magazines absolutely do not fit in there, right? So, and they're not useful in the original because they wobble around way too much. So that is a bit of a difference. Let's see, what else? Safety, they still have the safety options. I prefer a safety on my concealed carry pistols. That's just my choice. I have reasons for it. I've done videos on it, so if you're interested, you can check those out. But they still have a safety option or a no safety. Still have the original 3-dot sights, but it does look like if you go to their website that you can order the Shield Plus with a night sight option. So what are the problems with these guns, right? So, or with the Shield Plus as opposed to just the Shield. Oh, get it off the table and we'll just zoom in and focus on this guy now. So what are the problems, right? We've got the Shield Plus, new gun from Smith & Wesson. It's out in the wild now. What could be a problem? Well, I can tell you one thing that's a problem. You're not going to find any aftermarket magazines. You're not going to find any additional magazines. You get the 2 magazines that you get with the gun, and that's all you get. There's nothing out there right now. I do have alerts set up, so if you're interested in finding out when they come in, follow my link tree. There'll be a link in the description. My MeWe page, I post a lot of stuff over there, a lot of deals and 2A related items. So if you're interested in looking for certain stuff, or you're always open for ideas and deals, check that link tree out. My MeWe page is very active. So there's no magazines, that's a problem. Now the big question. So should you upgrade? Well, in this video, I think I've done a lot to kind of expose some of the upgraded features. But if you have an original Smith & Wesson Shield and you've done certain things to it, maybe you've installed an Apex trigger or you've done a stippling job, you've installed night sights, and you're really talking about the difference between 8 rounds in the original or 13 rounds in the new one, 5 extra rounds. That's not a small thing. That's not insignificant. There are things that you can do if you haven't done them yet. You can add extended magazines. You can get a Mag Guts extended magazine plate for the +2 magazine, so you can turn an 8+1 into a 10+1. That's one option. If you've added night sights and that sort of thing, I don't know, man. That's really a personal preference. I think you'd be hard pressed. I did want the extended magazine capacity in the factory Shield Plus, and so I did make the upgrade. I sold my original Shield and I did make the upgrade to the Shield Plus. Now, that's up to you, personal preference. I know a lot of guys have had these for a while. They've done a lot of things to them, and justifying the the selling of a gun you've invested that much money into may be a very hard one to do. Maybe just add this one to your collection and you keep them both, right? I mean, that's always an option as well. Now, aftermarket, right? So a lot of, because the slides are very similar and the lowers are very similar, I think finding aftermarket accessories for these things is going to be an interesting adventure. I think right now, because the dimensions are pretty similar, this is the holster I've carried the original Shield in for years. I've carried it like that in a pocket, in cargo shorts or jeans, and it doesn't print at all. You can barely notice it's even there. All my jeans have, they're loose or fitting. I don't wear, skinny jeans or anything like that. So if you carry, a little bit looser pant and you want to carry in your pocket, this is a perfect way to carry. I have, shown you that the dimensions are identical, and this is no exception, right? So this fits in here perfectly the same way. So this is an original Shield holster from DeSantis, and obviously it works just fine for both. I think that a lot of the aftermarket accessories that are out there for the Shield 1.0 are going to work in the Shield 2.0. So, stay aware of that. The only thing that's a little bit different is maybe the trigger and areas around the magazine. The magazine well. But like I showed you, the slides are identical, right? Or very close to identical if they're not 100% identical. Before I made this video, I reached out to all of my social media contacts. I reached out to Reddit, MeWe, Facebook, looking for input from you guys. So if there's something that I didn't cover in this video, throw it in the comments section. It does help the algorithm, like I've mentioned multiple times already, but it also gives me ideas on things to focus on for future videos. And if you haven't followed me on those other social media platforms, I do try to engage with you guys there. So if you have questions about any of the content that I'm putting out here and you don't want to put a comment in the comment section there, check me out in my link tree and follow me on a social media platform of choice. I try to be on all of them just so I can be, as well-rounded and as well-versed as possible. So with that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. If you made it to the end, thanks for sticking with me. These videos can get kind of long and sometimes they're not always the most interesting, but I try to give you as much quality content as I can. And until next time, guys, stay safe, stay vigilant, stay in the fight, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.